On this
two
side?
flagpoles over there. All right, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, it seems weird facing that way.
It does, doesn't it?
Can we get a roll call, please, Lisa?
Blair,
Present.
Broughton,
Here.
Tacoma,
Here.
Marshall,
Here.
Thurman. Here. Unruh,
Here.
Rumble.
Here. All right, we need to approve the agenda, but before we do that, I did send you all an email with the lien access for ordinance prosecution. That needs to be added as new business item G.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Thank you. Somebody want to second that?
Second, sorry.
Thank you, Steve. All right, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. That brings us right into our reports. We have the treasurer's report, or treasury report, the general ledger, our designated report, the reconciliation report, building department report, and if you see there, we have had 4 houses so far this year, so we're averaging about 1 a month. And then we have the Parks and Rec report. Fred, you wanted to talk?
Okay, so in the report, we show that programs are taking off pretty good. Whatever programs are done, we had a full house. I haven't seen you guys in a couple months. The daddy-daughter, as you see the profit report there, revenue expense did really well. And soccer, we have a full house, and we have every sponsor that we need. We actually have a couple extra. They told us to keep the money. So this extra $300. So we said, well, we want to do something for you. And so they said, well, go ahead and put the kids' name on the back of the shirts and their phone number. Baseball, likewise, we're still taking registrations, and we have plenty of sponsorships for that as well. Tomorrow, we have Parks and Rec Subcommittee meeting at 1 o'clock. HRC will be joining us with their architect. What we're going to discuss is the Grant 3, which is your restroom comforts, or the concession comfort station. They came up with a proposal, which we'll share with you at a later date after the Park Subcommittee looks at it, for 2 ways to do this, a prefab and a stick build. Now, their proposal is just them handling it. We still got to get a price on it with the actual structure. We'll be working on that. And I got good news. So Lions Club, I've been working with them for the last 3 years, trying to get them to put their emblem out at the Township Park. We have the Rotary out there. They did the Rotary did the Eagle Scout project, and that's that large pavilion. And another Eagle Scout project did the small pavilion. The Rotary is looking to do something like a gazebo, is kind of what I was asking for. And briefly, I would just like to show you where that would be. Here's our park, 42 acres. We go through the wetland. This is phase 3. So the gazebo would be right in the center. This renderings blowing up a little bit. So you walk through the wetlands through here, and the gazebo's in the center. The Rotary, this would be the first time that the Rotary and the Lions Club do a project together. Rotary's writing a small grant that they're more likely going to get, and then they match it by $5,000. They're going to do the infrastructure around the gazebo, benches, the aggregate, things of that nature. The Lions Club has designated $20,000 for this project.
Good for them.
We're looking pretty good. And I can't think of Lee's last name.
Pelshan?
Yeah, he's an architect, engineer. He's gonna draw a print that's gonna look something like this.
Oh, very nice.
Now, you show railings here. The design we would have to go if it stays as is would be cable, because you gotta be able to see through if you're in a wheelchair. And where the area is in the center, right now we have it lifted 3 feet off the ground. So we decided to take all that out, get this at level like this is. We can eliminate the railings. So you still have an entrance exit, but you still can enter any way you want. And that will keep the cost down.
And that would match the other pavilions we already have out there that you can go in anywhere on them.
Right. But we're getting a little fancy with this because it's a gazebo.
Right.
We're looking at weddings, reunions, senior activities, senior pictures. It's unlimited. It's on a real good location as well. So I have brought my dump truck down and my skid steer. I will donate the equipment to the township, and we gotta remove that big mound there. Or reuse the dirt elsewhere, and we'll also reuse the
Ground
boulders elsewhere. So that's all I wanted to share.
On the other thing, there's a gray circular area around it. Is that gonna be paved, or is that gonna be gravel, or what's that gonna be?
Depends on how much the rotary comes up.
Oh, okay, all right.
As of now, it's gonna be crushed limestone compacted, so
Okay.
it's still accepted by ADA standards, some of the wheelchairs.
Oh, okay, cool.
Fred? Scott and I were on the virtual monthly Oakland County MTA meeting call, and they were talking about extra funds through the DNR, that the DNR is going to have for projects. So yeah, so it sounds like it's kind of a different funding source.
Is that through a certain type of grant, or what? Well, you can share that with that later.
Yeah, but maybe call the DNR and ask them
I
about it.
talked to DNR today, matter of fact, on our current grants, and Mary Carlock says she has no answer on the grant one, other than it's in the federal government's hand, and I've been telling you that all along. Grant two, we have to finish the basketball court, and that will be done. Why we're not getting the money right now, I asked her to give me the federal number, and I haven't got it yet. But it's tied up. I'd like to see that as you guys would come in.
Fred, and that project wouldn't cost the township anything, correct?
Zero money other than my presence. So.
Right.
And
Okay.
then I'm paying you guys money, but paying my money. It won't take long to build it. We built that mound in 2006, so it's gonna be pretty compacted dirt.
Yeah.
Okay?
All right, thanks, Fred.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, that brings us to the senior center report. Faye, would you like to talk? Thank you.
So we are really booming. Our attendance has picked up, our passengers have picked up. Last month, we transported 141 people. Yes, so we've made it to the 3 digits again since COVID. And we are working on rocking and raking, which is the 23rd. Right now, we only have 17 volunteers, but I'm still waiting to hear from Christine, who is with the student council. She said they would get back to me after spring break. And we have right now 27 homes to be done. And it's really tight, so. And we've decided I'm going to hit up some of the places and see if we can get pizza instead of the hot dogs. Give them something different, have a couple different types of vegetarian in case somebody doesn't.
See me on the pizzas.
Okay. And, so and this Thursday is my boot camp from over at Genesis for the elder. It's put on by an elder law group, and it's gonna have a lot of information, so excited about that. So I will bring you back next month to let you know what I learned.
Thank you, Faye.
Hey, Faye, how many people got their, got help with their tax returns?
Shoot, I was gonna remember. 50, I believe it was 54.
Wow, okay.
Very good.
Yes, I think that's the most we've ever done.
It says 57 on your list, so
Okay,
maybe.
then it was
Okay.
57.
Was it? I just missed
Yeah,
it.
AARP taxes.
Oh, there, okay.
Well, 54 is good, so is 57.
Yeah.
Faye, can I have the date again you need the pizza?
the 23rd of this month.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Faye. I do not see a CDBG report, so that brings us into the trustee reports. Kathy, we'll start down there with you.
None of my subcommittees met this month, but we do have a retirement oversight committee meeting for this month, so none of them met last month. And I just wanted to wish everyone a happy Easter, and I hope we get through mud season pretty quick here.
Great.
Amen.
Thank you. Steve?
My planning commission met. There was a business that wants to go in by the Dollar General. I get them all mixed up, Dollar General, Dollar Tree, Dollar something. But it's over there, some kind of this building that's going to come in and build a building there. So they had their first thing. So other than that, it's cold here. And
There wasn't any more discussion about the place over on Wolf Road?
nope, haven't heard anything. Nope, nothing more. No, sir.
All right. Thanks, Steve. Bob?
I have nothing.
Thank you. Dana?
Like Fred said, tomorrow my Parks and Rec subcommittee meets, and like Kathy said, later on this month, the Retirement Oversight Committee meets, so no one met last month, so I don't have anything to report, but just want to say happy spring, and let's hope it gets to be spring.
All right. Thank you, Dana. That brings us to treasurer, Scott.
Yeah, taxes are all done, settlement's complete, which is good. Delinquent taxes, if you haven't paid your taxes, they now have to be paid at Oakland County. And we're still handing out dog tags up until June 1st, and then they go delinquent. We'll still have them here, but it gets very expensive once they're delinquent, so by June 1st. That's it.
Thank you, Scott. Rosalind?
Good evening. Thank you for attending the board meeting for the Charter Township of Brandon. In March, I completed my first year at the Michigan Association of Municipal Clerks Institute. I was able to meet with other clerks. I learned a lot last week, and some of the things I learned was effective and ineffective leadership, effective meeting techniques, HR do's and don'ts, strategic planning, leadership in public office. And we also listened to guest speakers from the FBI and the Bureau of Elections. I found it to be very knowledgeable and a good experience. I'm going to kind of do a repeat from last month. Brandon Township will have 2 elections this year. We will have the state primary in August and the state general election in November. Candidates looking to serve on the Brandon Township Public Library Board, please stop by the clerk's office to pick up a nominating petition, or you can pay a $100 filing fee instead, and that'll be for the August primary and for the general. There is 1 partial term available. The term is from November 20th, 2022 to November 20th, 2024. The filing deadline is April 19th, 2022, and the time is 4 p.m. Also, candidates looking to serve as precinct delegate will file at the county in which they reside. The filing deadline is May 3rd at 4 p.m. The clerk's office is always looking for election inspectors for upcoming elections. If you are interested, please stop by the clerk's office or go to our website, and there's inspector applications there.
All right. Thank you, Rosalind. For me, just a reminder that our first No-Haz event for Oakland County is April 30th. So that one is going to be at the Oakland County Service Center. It is from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. They start accepting appointments about 3 weeks prior to the event, and you will register for that at nohaz.com, and that website also has a list of everything they accept. And for the board, we do have 3 more No-Haz events, and we're looking for some volunteers to work those. We're supposed to send at least 1 person. Steve has volunteered for the first one. Okay, so we need 3 more dates we have to cover. We also have our first Township Cleanup Day, which will be June 11th. It's also from 8 to 2, and you can call the supervisor's office to schedule an appointment for that. And Steve is also covering that first one. And I'll work the second one, but he's working the first one. And then just as a reminder for any road issues, the number to contact Road Commission is 248-858-4804. And the toll-free number is 877-858-4804. All reports that are made to the supervisor's office are forwarded to those phone numbers as well. So we call the same number that you do. Okay, and then again, happy Easter. Hope everybody had a good spring break. And that is it.
Do you know what the no-has fee was, so the residents?
It's $15 is what we approved.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. And it's also listed on the website too for each,
Okay, I just
each
couldn't-
county, or not each county, each township.
I just couldn't remember what it would be.
Yep. Okay, that brings us into our correspondence. We have a letter from the Judicial Circuit Court, and we have a letter regarding the West Nile program for this year. And then that will bring us into citizens' comments on agenda items only. So you do have 3 minutes to make a comment on any agenda item, and we just ask that you state your name and your address. Is there any citizens that have a comment on agenda items? Okay, not seeing any. Nothing under discussion. That brings us to our consent agenda. We have the regular meeting minutes of March 7th, 2022. Regular bills in the amount of $9,583.08. Prepays in the amount of $388,310.07. Township benefits from payroll in the amount of $72,582.64. And trustee timesheets in the amount of $540. Any questions on the consent agenda? All right, somebody want to make a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Thank you, Bob. Any seconds?
I'll second.
Thank you, Kathy. Any other comments? No, okay. Lisa, can we have a roll call, please?
Broughton,
Yes.
Palma,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
Thurman. Yes. Unruh,
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Rumble.
Yes. Motion carries. That brings us into our unfinished business. We have the master plan here, guys, the letter. We forgot to put it in the folder there for you, but it has the sample motion on it. I did email this to everybody 3 or 4 weeks ago. There were some additional corrections that weren't updated, and those have since been updated. And so those were to the schools. We only have 4 schools now in the district, and they still had 5 schools on there. So, or 5 or 6 maybe. Rosalind noticed that, and those were removed. So now there's only the 4 buildings. And the other one was the one chart that all of us were trying to figure out. They ended up removing that chart because they do not have the proper information to fill that chart out. It was just a chart they had taken from Nunetrics. So that has been eliminated from the plan. And other than that, I did not hear from anybody else back on that. So I'm asking that we approve this motion on here now so it can be sent out to surrounding communities.
So moved.
You want to make the motion?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Bob. I'll go ahead and second that. Any other comments on that? Okay, we'll go ahead and do a roll call on this one.
Palma,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
Thurman. Yes. Unruh,
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Broughton,
Yes.
Rumble.
Yes, motion carries, thank you. All right, and then the cleanup contract, we had previously approved this. After we approved it at the board, Mr. Bass requested some changes to it. One of them was he wanted to reduce the time, which we already did that last year. We just forgot to adjust it in the contract this year. So it's only going till 2 instead of 4. So we just forgot to adjust that before we brought it to the board. The other one is he wanted to reduce the number of cars per hour. He wanted to go down to 16 per hour, and then we negotiated them back up to 18. We originally had 20 per hour, so he kind of met us in the middle on that. So we'll be able to have 108 cars per day. So that would be 216 for the year, and last year we had 227. So it's 11 cars less than last year that he's asking for. He said it just isn't enough time to empty that many cars in that short of time. And remember, we only pay by the dumpster. We don't pay per car or anything like that with him. So it's only how many dumpsters we use. So those are the changes. So I'm just asking now, because changes were made, we need to reapprove this with the changes being 2 o'clock and 18 cars per hour. So does anybody have any questions on that?
Do they make appointments to come?
Yes, we do that through the supervisor's office, yep.
Okay.
Yeah, sometimes people show up without an appointment, so
Absolutely.
we'll have to send them away if we're
Well,
full.
When I was doing it, Kathy, it really just depended on how busy we were.
Right.
Yeah.
If there was a big line of cars, I told them, hey, there's people waiting that had scheduled,
Right.
but
or if you had an open spot, you could tell them to come back
that's
later.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So far, it's not full currently,
I was
but
just,
it
I'm
will.
just wondering if we're lowering the amount of cars.
Yeah, by 2 cars per hour, yes.
but
Yeah.
It probably won't.
But
be
they're
lower.
not, I think we should honor our agreement, but they're not clicking the cars as they come in. They're
Yeah.
not counting them like
No,
that.
he's
It
not.
really
I
depends on
know.
how busy they are.
Yeah.
You know, you just never know. It could be carloads with just trunkfuls of stuff versus carloads with 2
One
trailers
computer.
behind it,
Well,
right?
another
Right.
thing too is some people make appointments and don't show up.
Correct.
so
Yes.
Yep, that happens too.
that's-
All right, so any other questions or comments on that? Okay, can we, because it's contract, we'll go ahead and roll call it.
Marshall?
Yes.
Oh, no one made a motion.
Oh, sorry. Oh. Yes, we did not make a motion. Would somebody like to make the motion to approve the changes to the contract?
So moved.
Thank you,
Support.
Dana. Thank you, Bob. All right, now we'll do a roll call.
Marshall?
Yes.
Thurman?
Yes.
Unruh?
Yes.
Blair?
Yes.
Broughton?
Yes.
DePalma?
Yes.
Rumble?
Yes. Motion carries. Thank you. That brings us into our new business. Let me get there real quick. All right, the first thing up is our West Nile program. We did get the paperwork from them. The letter was under correspondence. If you notice on that letter, our amount for this year did go down about $60. So we get $3,416.05 this year for mosquito control products. I've been in contact with Ace again this year, and they just sent me the prices this morning. So once we have this approval, I'll figure out how many of each case we're gonna get.
I'll make this motion to participate in the Oakland County 2022 West Nile Virus Program by allowing the supervisor to submit a project plan to Oakland County, purchase mosquito control products in the amount not to exceed $3,416.05, and to request reimbursement from Oakland County for the same amount after the resolution is approved.
Thank you, Dana.
Second.
Thank you, Kathy.
We
All
have a lot
right.
left from previous years.
Yeah, did I not put that? Sorry, I didn't. Yeah, we do have some left. So we probably have about 100 bottles of the 5 different projects left and like 10 dunk cards.
Okay, so
So
going
we have a
down
little
in-
bit left.
Because I'm assuming with the way prices are going of products
Yeah,
out there.
everything's
that
more expensive.
The price is gonna be more expensive, and then we're not getting as much money, but if we have some carryover, we should be
Yep.
good then. so.
Yeah, we do.
Yep. Okay, thank
Probably
you.
about 100 bottles we have left
Do
from
we,
last year.
do we make sure when we put it out that we use the old
Yep,
first?
it's part of, you have to as part of the program.
Okay.
So, yep. All right. Any other questions on that? All right, we have a motion. We'll do a roll call on that because we're going to spend some money.
Thurman?
Yes.
Unruh?
Yes.
Blair?
Yes.
Broughton?
Yes.
DePalma?
Yes.
Marshall?
Yes.
Rumble?
Yes. Motion carries. Okay, the next one is we have a petition to create a drainage district. This is going to be known as the Northwest Oakland Sanitary Sewer Project. This is the ongoing sewer project we're involved in. The cost to create this is included in the $41,401 we've already spent. So this is just the next step in that process, so they can create the district and begin to negotiate on behalf of the district. So,
I can make a motion
Okay.
to approve the attached petition to create a county drain district to be known as the Northwest Oakland Sanitary Sewer Project, and allow the supervisor and clerk to sign the petition.
I'll support it.
thank you, Kathy. Thank you, Dana. Any other questions on that? All right, because it is a petition, I'm gonna go ahead and roll call that one too.
Unruh?
Yes.
Blair?
Yes.
Broughton?
Yes.
DePalma?
Yes.
Marshall?
Yes.
Thurman?
Yes.
Rumble?
Yes, motion carries. All right, if we have any other questions, Chief can help us on this next one too, but myself and Chief Quapis met with the Village of Ortonville manager, Ryan Mattis, to discuss their building inspection official needs being handled by the township again as they were in the past. This is because the recent passing of their inspector official, Jerry Edwards, passed away within the last 2 weeks. And Ryan approached Chief and myself and asked if we would be able to do that service for them. They're looking at only approximately 2 hours a week of time to handle theirs. You know, they're not super busy. They don't have a lot of inspections. So we did come to a preliminary agreement that would pay the township $7,000, and then we would split that between us and the fire department to offset our costs for the position, and we would cover those services on behalf of the village.
Was he the same person who was also doing, I'm sorry.
You're fine.
w-
Go ahead.
Was she the same, was he the same person that was also doing Groveland?
I believe so, yes.
So is Jason still filling in over there too?
No, he's not, well, he is until they find somebody, but
Okay,
he is not going, he told them that they need to find somebody else.
Oh.
okay,
So, because
Yeah.
he doesn't have time with what he's doing here.
right.
To continue
Okay,
that.
Good, okay.
That's pretty much my question, because
Okay.
Jason Wilton's doing the building inspections for us now, right?
Yes.
And so, yeah, so I was just wondering if he had enough time to add
He
this
does.
on. Okay.
He does. And he will soon not be doing Groveland's at all anymore, so.
Okay, that was gonna be my question, is did he have enough time? And then does this cover his costs or the $7,000?
Yeah, the $7,000 would cover the $2 per week. And it's actually about $1,000 cushion we put in
Yeah.
there.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I
So.
figured.
Just wanna
The,
make sure we're not, that we're covering our costs.
The motion
We are.
says $7,000 per year.
Correct.
Is it, at what point are we able to renegotiate that? Say it,
So what did he say, 23, 24, their fiscal year, they would look at it again?
okay, so just a year, it's
Yeah.
basically, okay.
Yeah, basically 1
Alright.
year.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the Village of Ortonville's request to handle their building inspection and building official needs at a cost of $7,000 per year.
I'll second.
Thank you.
Can I ask another
Anything?
question?
Yep.
What if it turns out to be more than?
Then we would adjust the price.
Okay,
So we did agree to renegotiate after 23,
right.
in their 2023
But during the
fiscal
year, though, if we find out that they're needing more time,
Yeah. It will. It's an average of 2 weeks, and none of us expected. They've never spent more than $4,000 on their inspections
Okay.
for a year, so,
Okay.
But we're not, we're,
yeah,
I was gonna
unless,
say, I don't
unless
see
they
the
get a
village
building
having
boom in
much
the
area
village,
for much
we're
you
not
know
gonna.
what, that's
building.
that's not
Sewers
just.
come in, you mean, and they get a lot of building.
But that's, Dave, that's not just building inspection, though. That's if somebody, hey, put up a fence that didn't get the right permit for it, he has to go after that as well, right?
Right,
Yep.
he would.
So he's doing ordinance enforcement too?
So whatever would be required of building inspections.
Only inspect. He wouldn't be, they're gonna have to do their own enforcements. We're not doing enforcement.
Okay, that was my
No,
question.
we are not, we
We're
have not
doing
agreed to
that.
do enforcements.
The village manager does.
Does the own enforcement.
Okay, okay.
Yep. Okay, we have the motion by Kathy, supported by Rosalind, and I'm gonna roll call this too, just because.
Blair,
Yes.
Bratton,
Yes.
DePalma,
yes.
Marshall.
Yes.
Thurman,
Yes.
Unruh.
Yes.
Rumble.
Yes. And it's Fred. Oh, Fred is still here. Come on up, Fred. Fred has asked to form a Septemberfest subcommittee, and he has asked me to appoint trustees Bob Marshall and Steve Unruh to this committee, as well as myself being an ex officio member of all subcommittees. So that was my recommendation to, at Fred's request, to appoint Bob and Steve to the Septemberfest subcommittee, and we'll let Fred talk about that for a second.
Yeah, I would appreciate if the board approves those three gentlemen. On top of that, we have a representative from the village, which is gonna be Tony Randazzo. We also have Courtney, I can't think of her last name, that.
McLaren.
Claire.
McLaren.
She will be doing our, she'll be on the committee as well. She handles the food trucks. Then we have Ed Elverson Senior, representing the Lions Club, and myself. Let's see. And then I have another young lady, Stephanie, that will be on the board because she's a great fundraiser, and she'd be in charge of the children's area. So, last year, we did a survey of the 90-plus vendors that we had at Septemberfest to find out if our part, the township's part, which is a Saturday, if they would like to move forward to have a two-day vendor event, which would be the Saturday and Sunday. We had overwhelming response. About 95% of them said yes, they would like to do that. So this committee will sit down and we'll work on exactly just how we're gonna do this. You work, basically, we bring in about $12,000 to $14,000 a year, and for a Saturday only. So if you're gonna add another day, we're gonna have to look at sponsorships, entertainment, kids area. We'll just kind of figure out what we're gonna do. So really, Septemberfest is, you know, our end's Saturday, Sunday, but Septemberfest has become a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I've talked to the village already got the approval to have the streets, the additional streets shut down. And that's where we're gonna go. So if we approve this committee, I would like to get on it right away and start moving forward. I have sat down with the village and kind of mapped out exactly how we're gonna handle some of the businesses that are open on Sunday, like the village pub and I'm not sure who's all open, but I know maybe Papa Bella's open as well, but we have a plan, and I'd like to share that plan with this committee and move forward.
Okay. Thank you, Fred.
If I could say something,
Yep.
because there's a possibility, hopefully, that I will be actually making money off of Septemberfest. I originally wanted to just recuse myself from it. Then I thought, no, I can't do that. Then I thought was just to be a non-board member, and I was told can't do that. So what I propose is that the money I make for the board meetings, I'll just donate back to the Recreation Department.
I don't think you have to do that, Bob.
You know,
He doesn't, and I spoke to Stuart today,
Okay.
and there is no conflict of interest whatsoever. Stuart was not concerned about that in any fashion. He said
it makes me feel uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah,
So-
and
It's up to you, but I don't feel you have to do it for the board,
If
though.
it's okay with Stuart.
Yeah.
Then
I can always take your money and then make you feel better about it. I mean, come on,
No,
Bob.
there is the other portion of that is we're going to have to buy Steve a tambourine because he wants to play with the band. So.
There you go.
I want a B-flat tambourine.
I'm looking forward to working with all of you on this, and I know Bob's been very active with Septemberfest as an entertainer.
You're right.
And providing sound systems for some of the other entertainment that just came out of nowhere and said, hey, Bob, stick around. So that's one good reason why I want Bob to help me out with the entertainment. And then Steve showed some interest last year, and so we'll go with it.
All right. Thank you,
I'm
Fred.
glad Stuart was contacted on this because he's the one that handles all our cases, so
Mm-hmm.
something should come up.
All right, with that, I'll go ahead and make the motion to appoint Bob Marshall and Steve Unruh to the Septemberfest Subcommittee with appointments ending in November of '24.
I'll second.
Thank you, Steve. All right, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Or all those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. All right, that brings us to Fred's next item, which is Fred is looking to reclassify Venus to clerical staff instead of, or non-eligible clerical staff instead of part-time Phil, which he's been paying her for several years now. So Fred, go ahead.
This is Venus. She actually is the one that did the survey for me last year at Septemberfest. Venus came aboard about 4 years ago when we were doing Grant 1, when we had what we call the Roger rookies out there, when we had to basically do our own thing, and she was a big dump truck operator, and she worked out so well that once that project was done, there was a part-time opening in our clerical. Well, she's also been site directors for soccer, Pee Wee Sports Camp, just about everything we do around here. And then, so I got to thinking that, she's been on site director's wages, the seasonal wages on that chart for 4 years now. And I think it's about time that we bring her to the clerical schedule and starting ASAP. And also, it's no secret that I plan on retiring next year, and maybe that I would like to sit down and figure out how we're gonna run recreation after I'm gone, but she would be an asset at that time if you decide to go a certain route. So I'd like to see Venus get up to par with the clerical.
And Fred, you said right now she works about 12 hours a week. Is that what you told
Yeah,
me?
she has an 8-hour day and a 4-hour day, and there's occasionally she'll fill in for Kara. Now, last year's budget, you're gonna see that we went over, but Kara was off sick for like
Yeah.
6 weeks.
Right.
She filled in, she knows the Rec Pro, she knows the registration, she's very good with children, and she's also very good with the parents.
And then you wanted to move it to an average of 15 hours a week, right? So like 3 more hours a week at the higher school. Go ahead.
I just had a question, Fred. You want to move funds from the committed, and it's gonna, looking at the report, it's coming out of the restricted park rec development?
No, that's,
No,
well.
the restricted is the
that-
25,000.
That particular part is only
Oh,
for the
okay,
hemorrhage.
for the 25,000, but it's still for park, isn't that line for park development?
No, my carry, just that $25,000.
Okay, so
it
the
reads
rest of
fine.
the extra $5,000,
It's my
Yes.
carry forward.
that's your carry forward that you put into this
Correct.
line? Okay,
On the committed. sheet
Yeah,
I was
that,
looking
the
at.
way that's worded, it's a little confusing.
yeah, I know it's just 25,000, but I thought the whole line was park.
And then the other line item is
Park
our
development.
filling officer, which we're a third of the way through the season and haven't really used any of that.
Right. So Fred and I did the math, and with moving this $4,000, he'll have more than enough to cover that for the rest of the year, and then he'll just have to budget more next year in that line item.
Okay, glad you did that.
So we have 2 motions on here. The first one is to approve Venus to clerical staff part-time non-eligible status at a starting clerical staff rate of $16.90.
So moved.
Thank you, Kathy.
Support.
Thank you, Bob. All right, because we are changing the position, I'm gonna do a roll call on this.
DePalma,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
Thurman,
Yes.
Unruh,
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Broughton,
Yes.
Trumbo.
Yes, motion carries. And the second motion is to move 3,000 from Fred's committed funds, which is 258-508-999-508 to wages, 508-007-702-000. And he's gonna move 1,000 from the fill-in wages, 508-117-704-000 to wages, 508-117-702-000, which gives us the extra $4,000 he was looking for.
So moved on that one, too.
Thank you, Kathy. Thank you, Steve. And because we're dealing with wages, we're gonna go ahead and roll call that too.
Marshall,
Yes.
Thurman,
Yes.
Unruh,
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Broughton,
Yes.
DePalma,
Yes.
Trumbo.
Yes, motion carries. Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Yep. All right, that brings us to employee hours increase for the clerk's office.
Okay, hello. Andrea Murphy is from the clerk's office. She's joining us today. But I just wanted to get into kind of what this is all about. So on March 1st of 2021, I introduced Andrea Murphy as the clerk's office newest employee, and I hired her as a part-time employee. With the motion, how it was read, it kind of limited us to the numbers of hours she could work. And Andrea has been doing a great job. She's been a big asset to the clerk's office. With that said, we are requesting that per the policy for part-time eligible, that we can increase her hours. We're looking at possibly about 30 hours a week is what we're wanting to increase her wages to.
I noticed that she gets paid out of the election
Yes.
cost center. Does she do all work regarding elections, or does she do more?
So does a lot with our elections. She does other duties as well.
She does a lot more.
Yeah.
Because then you can probably pay her out of both areas
Yeah,
if you needed to.
I do. So when you look at the budget, you will see that I did budget for a part-time because I do plan on bringing someone else into the clerk's office. I'll have to put it out, put an ad out in the paper, but we do look at hiring someone else.
Yeah, and
I'm still down
the clerk's office
full-time.
is still down an employee. They haven't replaced
Full-time.
Rosalind when she became clerk when Candy retired, so they're still down a person in that department. So Andrea's covering a lot of that. So
So she's going from,
she's already part-time eligible. We're just looking to add up to 5 hours more per week.
oh,
Not
because we
changing,
didn't-
it's not changing wages, it's just
it's not
adding
changing
hours.
wages and it's not changing her
Status.
status, it's just changing hours, which it could have been anyways because part-time eligible reads.
Well,
But the way the motion was made last time, it said
It
it
limited. It
limited her to
did.
25 hours.
Gotcha. Okay, I understand now. I'm like, but that's allowed to be more than 25, but
It is.
somehow or another it got limited. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
I'll go
Go
ahead and
ahead.
make the motion to increase the part-time eligible hours that Andrea Murphy can work to less than 40 and more than 25 per week as needed at the clerk's discretion.
Support.
Oh, all right. Dana was first, I think. Thank you, everybody on that one.
How do you figure?
Because my left ear hears better. It's bigger.
My voice is higher.
All right, because we're dealing with wages, we will do a roll call, please.
Thurman?
Yes.
Unruh?
Yes.
Blair?
Yes.
Broughton?
Yes.
DePalma?
Yes.
Marshall?
Yes.
Rumble?
Yes, motion carries. Thank you. Congratulations, Andrea.
You get to work
You get to
more.
work more.
Yay.
And we fought, there's three of us that fought for your second, you know? Think about that.
Right. All right, that brings us to the last item on here, which is, was given to me after the packet came out by Stuart. This is something new required by Oakland County in order for our prosecutor, Peter Keenan, to access the lien information, which is the Law Enforcement Information Network. He has always been able to access that in his 30-plus years he's been helping us, but now there is a new requirement that he becomes essentially a registered agent of that lien program on behalf of the township. So this resolution prepared by Stuart gives him that authority. So we are just looking to get this approved so Peter can continue to do the good job that he does for us on our prosecution/ordinance enforcement issues.
I'll go ahead and make the motion
Thank
to
you,
adopt the
Rob.
resolution as presented.
All right.
Support.
Thank you, thank you. And because it's a resolution, we will roll call that.
Unruh?
Yes.
Blair?
Yes.
Broughton?
Yes.
DePalma?
Yes.
Marshall?
Yes.
Thurman?
Yes.
Rumble?
Yes, motion carries. Thank you. Okay, that brings us back to citizens' comments on any item. It does not have to be on the agenda. Again, you're limited to 3 minutes, and we do ask that you give your name and your address. Is there anybody that would like to speak? Okay.
Good evening, my name's Tim Crane, I live at 1440 Granger Road. For those of you that don't know me or remember me, I've lived here coming up on 28 years. I've raised my family here. When I moved in, we moved in September of '94, there was minimal traffic, but the community was growing at the time. Road Commission took care of the roads a lot better than what they have for years. In the last many years, the traffic has increased. The road conditions have decreased with attention from Oakland County Road Commission. When we moved here, the first 2 supervisors came to my home, saw the dust. Within a couple days, the roads were graded and chlorided again. We come up into Kathy, and Kathy's been in my home several times. We've had more phone calls and things that I care to really talk about. Kathy, I believe, has tried to do what she can do. And I have some documents that I can give, pass that out, I guess, please.
Okay.
One of the things that was happening while Kathy was supervisor was that the Oakland County came and they raised Granger Road, and specifically I'm talking about Granger Road between East Glass and Hadley, almost to the top of the hill going up. It has been an issue with dust, and the way the wind blows comes right up through, and the house is covered with dust all year long. It is unacceptable in many levels. It's also a safety concern, and I'll give you a handout about that in a minute. During Kathy's tenure, Oakland County decided that they were going to come through the problem with the roadway and that letter that I just gave you, washing out the gravel and the chloride, leaving behind potholes, washboard, and dust. They came through, cut down trees, put big ditches. A lot of the ditches are starting to fill in. part of the ditch on our driveway to the east is already filled in and has done nothing for the washboard, the potholes, or the dust at all. I think that Kathy did what she could do, but I think that although I provided this board and Kathy with numerous documents, I think that Oakland County carries more clout than the citizens of the township. I emailed, I'm sorry,
Jason.
I emailed you, Jason, back last year about coming and looking. Within a day or so, you drove up the hill and decided that everything was okay. Because of COVID and life and whatever, neither one of us followed up with each other, as was indicated.
Tim, you are past your 3 minutes. If you want to talk to me after, we can finish the conversation.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Are there any other citizens that want to speak on anything? Roger?
It's new business, right? It says.
No, it's any item, yeah, so you can,
And, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to ask you is if you could take a look at a small area over Elizabeth Street in Clayton Township, served by the Dollar General. On Elizabeth Street, it's currently zoned as commercial. However, on the taxes, it shows it's residential. So we have a conflict with that. I have 4 homeowners there that was unaware that this is zoned commercial. We went to get financing for them, and they couldn't get financing because they have to have 20% down, so we had a problem selling the properties. Now I have another gentleman that's getting ready to refinance again, who's on a lease option, and the interest rates are going up quickly, so I'm asking to see if we can possibly take a look at how that got rezoned, when, and if it was properly rezoned. We can't find anything. I got a Freedom of Information Act with the township regards to that now. So if we just take a look, see what happened, how it happened, but quite honestly, the half-acre pieces, they're valued at over $100,000, $150,000. That's $300,000 an acre. Excuse me, almost $300,000 an acre, which is impossible to bring in Brandon Township without sewers. So commercial zoning there is just wrong. It makes it impossible for them to rezone. The one guy that moved, that we bought the house from, he actually moved because he couldn't even put a garage on. He was denied without voting for special land use. So the people can't do nothing with their property because it's commercial. But yet, it's residential and tax code, so what is it? Any questions?
you would have to go to the zoning commission and the planning commission to make any changes to zoning?
Pardon me?
You would have to go through the ZBA and the planning commission to do any changes to zoning? That's not a product the board does?
Yeah, I'm gonna work on that, but it's gonna take 3 months to get done. I'm asking you to take a look at it, see if there's anything special we can do, if anybody can find out when it got rezoned.
You asked Stacy for that information already, and she told you that they don't have it.
Nobody has it.
They looked for it. They don't have a record of it.
Yeah, she's been looking for it for over 2 months, can't find nothing on it. So somehow or another, we had a map where it was residential. I don't have it with me, but we had a map that was residential, and we can't really verify whether, other than the dates that I have on the legend, which is back from 92 through 99, it was residential.
If you want to change that, you have to go to the ZBA and the planning commission.
Well, the township can do things as well, if they could.
We do it on recommendations from those two committees.
Right, well, like I say, I'm just asking you to take a look at it, please. If you can do anything for me, I appreciate it.
We have
If-
been for 2
if not-
months, Roger. Thank
Okay.
you. All right, are there any other residents that would like to say anything? Okay, any additional board comments? Kathy?
Yes, I have one.
Okay.
I brought this up before. When I worked at the no-haz collections, when I was supervisor, I found out that everybody else that works there, they're getting paid. I mean, if they're And
It's not exactly
Yeah, but
that.
you never
It's-
paid anybody when you were
It's not,
supervisor.
I know,
not
but-
elected officials.
Not
It's-
elected
The
officials.
elected officials don't want to go, so they pay their
They pay their-
DPW
right.
guys or their other manual laborers to
well,
go and do
but
it.
the people working there are getting paid. I didn't get paid any
Right.
additional, but I was on salary, so I figured, well, that's part of the job, and I didn't.
Well, I went
need to get
volunteer and didn't get paid at all, and I wasn't on the
I know,
board.
and I think that was wrong. I think,
I don't, it was a volunteer
I
thing.
was sent from the township and I was paid hourly when I went to NOHAS at the county.
from here.
But you weren't an elected official then.
I was not.
Right.
So she was an employee, she got paid.
And we have paid Fred's guys to go do the township one too in
Right,
the past.
but I know that trustees like Steve, he's volunteering. I don't see why we can't,
Bob's paying
Yes,
me,
motion.
Bob's paying me off of his, thing, well, I'm compensated off of, the September Festival.
I mean, I think we should get meeting wage, I think we should get meeting wage for the trustees that go to do.
So now that you're not supervisor, that's what you think, huh?
Well, yeah, because I didn't realize that all those people, I thought they were all
Okay.
volunteering, because they were called volunteers.
Okay.
But they were all getting paid, and.
Look, since
and
I'm
you should've
volunteering
gotten
for it,
paid.
I'm volunteering for it, and I volunteer for it.
Thank you, Steve.
How about
Well,
that?
traditionally what we did is if we don't find a
I'm fine.
volunteer, then somebody gets
That's
paid.
right.
to
I'm
go.
fine,
That's
okay?
right.
I told you I'd
Yeah.
volunteer, I'm there,
All right.
unless I go down to Mexico, then I'm.
Do you have anything else, Kathy?
No, that's
All right,
it.
Steve,
No, nothing, no.
Scott,
Nope.
Ross, Bob,
Just have a nice Easter.
Dana.
Happy Easter.
I do not have anything else. Can we get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Thank you, Bob and Steve. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.